If you watched part 1, you've already seen how trying harder can actually keep you stuck, and how a small shift in attention can begin to change that. Now we're going to work with this. Your brain rewires itself every time you shift your attention, and in the next few minutes, you're going to feel that directly, not as an idea, but as an experience. If anxiety, mental noise, or emotional reactivity feels automatic, or if you simply want more clarity and ease, this is the mechanism behind it. Before we go any further, try something with me, right now. Place your attention on your hands. No need to move them. No need to create anything. Just notice what is already there. We'll stay here for 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now pause and just notice. Maybe warmth spreading through your palms. Perhaps there was a subtle tingling or pulsing sensation. Maybe just the feeling of more presence in your hands than before. That change you just experienced. That was your brain rewiring your attention networks. This isn't your imagination playing tricks on you. This is neuroplasticity happening here and now. And that's exactly what we're exploring today. Here's the key point. The moment you shift your attention, the brain reallocates neural resources. Different neural networks turn up or down depending on where attention goes. Your brain is constantly adjusting what it prioritizes, and that changes what you experience. Your attention acted like a volume dial, amplifying the sensory signals from your hands. Your interoceptive networks, responsible for sensing your internal bodily state, became more active. Your brain reorganized its filtering mechanisms to highlight that specific area of your body, and as a result, your conscious perception changed. Welcome to a journey where cutting-edge neuroscience meets ancient wisdom. Consciousness isn't just some mystical concept. It's a trainable skill that reshapes your biology moment by moment. When you learn to work with it, you gain more influence over your stress responses. Focus heightens. You understand your emotional patterns with more ease, and you experience yourself more clearly. Not in months, but in moments. Here's something most people never realize. Your nervous system is filtering millions of data points. The air on your skin, subtle sounds in your environment, the floor beneath you, what you are sitting on. Most of it is automatically screened out, but that filter isn't fixed. You can influence it. And when you do, your neural firing patterns change, and so does your experience of reality. This is how you break automatic patterns, interrupt stress loops, and shift into a calmer, more regulated state on command. This is connected to clarity and confidence. When you are here, it is like your unique home base, and you are truly in tune with yourself. In a moment, I'll show you how this directly stops emotional spirals, not by control, but by awareness. This is the version of the observer effect. From quantum physics, the act of observing transforms potential sensation into felt reality. By paying attention on purpose, you just experience the bridge between measurable neuroscience and the deeper mystery of consciousness that contemplatives have explored for thousands of years. Different fields call this capacity different names. Neuroscience calls it metacognitive awareness. Psychology calls it the observing mind. Contemplative traditions have pointed to it for millennia. Different language, identical function. The moment you step back and observe your thoughts, emotions, or sensations, something fundamental shifts. You're no longer completely identified with them. Instead, you're holding them in awareness, and that tiny shift creates space. Reactivity or impulsiveness begins to soften. Clarity and calm naturally increases. Your nervous system starts regulating itself from within. Suddenly, insight is online and available, This isn't a passive state. It's a trainable skill that can reorganize your inner landscape. Children notice and feel things effortlessly. Emotional tone, unspoken cues, signals of safety. If we recall our own early awareness, we once did too. As we grow, perceptual filters become rigid. Cultivating observing awareness softens those filters, sharpens intuitive intelligence, and increases sensitivity to subtle cues. You start accessing what could be called internal data information your system has always been processing, but you weren't consciously aware of. This is where neuroscience meets mystery. Two different languages describing the same fundamental truth about human consciousness. Let me show you another example that makes this crystal clear. In a moment, you'll feel how attention alone signals safety to your nervous system. Bring your attention to your breathing. Don't try to control or change it. Simply feel where your breath naturally moves. Notice the cool stream of air entering your nostrils, the sensation in the back of your throat, the expansion in your chest or belly, the warm release of the exhale. Just rest your attention there for 5 seconds. You might have felt a subtle dropping sensation, a quieting, a soft settling. That's your nervous system responding directly to the quality of your attention. Attention isn't passive. It's a form of communication with your biology. We just saw something simple. When you shifted your attention, your experience changed, not because you forced anything or tried harder, but because your brain reorganizes what you notice. That's neuroplasticity in action. Your nervous system is constantly filtering millions of signals, sounds in the room, your heartbeat. Most of it stays in the background, but the filter isn't fixed. When you shift attention, the brain reallocates resources. Certain networks become more active, others quiet down, and your experience reorganizes in real time. That's the mechanism. Try this sometime during your day, whether you're out or at home. It only takes a few seconds. Notice one breath or one thing in your environment you simply like, and let your attention stay there, just a moment longer than usual. Bring your attention to the inhale. Don't control it. Just feel where it naturally moves. The coolness as air enters, the subtle expansion in your chest or belly, the warmth and release of the exhale. And for a few seconds, let your attention rest there. You may notice that there's a softening. Your shoulders might drop slightly, or your thoughts might be a little quieter. That's not coincidence. That's your nervous system responding. Attention isn't passive, it's communication. And when your attention becomes steady and gentle, your biology listens. Real transformation doesn't happen through willpower. It happens through conditions. Just as you can't force a flower to bloom, but you can change or support the existing environment by adding steadiness, being more present, and the practice of paying attention on purpose. With conditions of support like these, the system reorganizes on its own. Here's what this means. You are not stuck with the patterns you inherited or trapped by your past reactions. Your brain is not fixed. Every time you choose where to place your attention, you're shaping your world around and inside of you, not through force, but through alignment. And that's where this work really begins. If you'd like to explore this more deeply, not just as a concept, but as a daily practice, I've linked a few resources below. They expand on how attention, thought patterns, and internal alignment shape long-term change in practical, grounded ways. Take what resonates, and we'll see you in the next video.